In this video, I'm going to talk you through the camera and lenses that I use at every single wedding and how that builds into my 2 wedding setups. So I'm just packing my camera bags for this weekend's weddings, and I thought it'd be a good chance to talk you through the cameras and lenses that I use on a wedding day. Now, I have 2 setups that I use on a wedding day. I have my day setup and I have my evening setup. My day setup is 3 cameras, 3 lenses on me at all times, and then in the evening I make that a little bit lighter. I go 2 camera bodies, 2 lenses, and then the 3rd camera body becomes my dance floor flash. So I do take quite a bit of kit with me to a wedding, but it actually makes sense to me to do it the way that I do it. So let's jump into the first combination, which is the day combination, and one of my favorite lenses. So as I said, on a wedding day, I have 2 setups. The first setup is my day setup, and this is my favorite combination. I love this lens, and it's the Sony 20mm f1.8 with the A9 Mark II. This is a combination that sits in my hip bag on me throughout the day, and I use this combination for morning prep, whether it's the girls, whether it's the guys, the bride arriving, guests' arrivals. I use it for the ceremony, the drinks reception, the garden games, speeches. It's a combination that I absolutely love. The reason the A9 II, I used to have 3 A9 IIs before the A1s came out, and I just kept one of the A9 IIs as my 3rd camera body. I shoot 100% silent at all my weddings. So yeah, that is one of my favorite combinations that gets me images that you just don't see. It gives you a completely different perspective and the ability to capture images that people won't be expecting to see from weddings. So carrying on with my day setup, this is a Sony A1 and the 35mm f1.4 G Master lens. This is on the right hand side of my hold fast strap all the way through the day. The 35 GM 1.4, it is stunning. It is super sharp. With the combination of the Sony A1, the focus just doesn't miss. Any of the new Sony bodies, really, the focus doesn't miss. Why an A1 for me? I have an article about why I think the Sony A1's the perfect wedding camera. I will link it in the description below, so go and have a quick read of that. For me, the big reason for the A1, silent shooting and 50 megapixels. The 50 megapixels allow me to crop in camera, so I can get a 35mm, I can crop in camera in APS-C mode and get a reach of about a 50. You won't get the same characteristics of a 50mm lens because it's not a 50mm lens. All you're doing is kind of zooming in, but it gives you an amazing amount of versatility. I don't deliver 50 megapixels to my clients. They don't need that. I downsize everything to 24 megapixels so it matches my A9 II. But yeah, so the first standard combination is a Sony A1 with the 35mm G Master. Okay, so on the left hand side of my holdfast is my other A1 and the 50mm f1.4 G Master lens. I've recently moved over to the 1.4 from the 1.2. I have a video on my YouTube channel about the 51.2. I will link that in the description below. But I've recently moved over to the 50mm 1.4. It's a very, very good lens. It's only got one drawback, this particular lens, and it's the lens flare. I feel that it is less controlled than the Sony 1.2 50mm, but the weight saving is a big thing for me because it allows me to grip the camera body, because the Sony A1s absolutely rip through batteries on a wedding day. The 50mm for me, you know, I mentioned about the 35mm GM and the A1, and I can crop in and get a 50. yes, you get the focal reach, but you don't get the characteristics of a 50. I'm quite a close photographer, and the 50 suits me quite well for kind of mingling shots, walking through people. It's great for capturing the wedding ceremony, because it just has a beautiful characteristic, the way that the background just kind of blurs. It's absolutely fabulous. Yeah, so that's that combination. This sits on the left hand side of my holdfast, so I have 35 on my right, 50 on my left, and the 20mm in my hip bag. So that's my day setup done. My evening setup, I go from 3 cameras and 3 lenses on me at all times to having 2 cameras, 2 lenses on me at all times, with my third camera body set up ready for the dance floor. My Sony 35mm f1.4 G Master lens comes off my Sony A1, and I pop on the 24mm f1.4 G Master lens. Here in the UK, around about 7ish is when the evening guests start arriving, and they tend to kind of mingle in the bar. They don't drift too far away from the bar, and so it can get quite crowded. And the 35 is quite a tight view, you know, if you're trying to capture people chatting and things like that. So the 24 is a great lens for that, and at 1.4 lets in a good amount of light. I would say that this lens does need a bit of an update. I think it's slow to focus compared to the 35 GM and the 50 GMs, and has a little bit of chromatic aberration. And actually the 20mm f1.8 lens is a better lens than this, but this is an easier lens to capture people mingling and things like that. You don't have too wide a field of view like you do with the 20. So that goes on my A1 instead of my 35mm 1.4. My 50mm 1.4 stays on my other A1, so I have 24 on my right, 50 on my left. Great combination for kind of close action at weddings and things like that. So I use the 24-50 for evening guests arriving, chatting, talking, that kind of stuff. The cake cut, first dance, and a little bit of the dance floor if there's enough light. My third camera body, so my A9 II, for the evening will have this combination. So this is the 24mm f2.8 lens. On the dance floor, I use a technique called zone focusing. So I will manually set the focus on the camera to about 2 meters. I will set the aperture at f11. I'll set the shutter speed and the ISO. I'll stick a flash on top. What that allows me to do is just walk through crowds of people and be grabbing images without the need to have autofocus active. So the reason I picked the 24 2.8 and I don't use the 24 GM for this is it's just the compactness. It's just a great combination. Little flash on top here, little Profoto A1X flash on top of here, and I can just walk around just grabbing images on the dance floor, and it's just a fabulous combination. So there you go. That's the cameras and lenses that I use on a wedding and how I use each combination. Let me know in the comments below what cameras and lenses that you use on a wedding and why you like to use those particular cameras and lenses. I appreciate, for me, you know, it's a little bit confusing maybe that you're looking at my setups and going, why would you have 2? It works for me. You know, the 3 cameras and lenses in the morning just gives me so much versatility, and then I like to go slightly lighter in the evening. It works for me, and ultimately my couples love the images that they get. So yeah, so there you go. Let me know in the comments below, like I say, what you guys are using. Any queries and questions, get in touch. I will also link to my A1 review, and I'll link to all the kind of lens reviews that I've done. Hopefully I'll be back soon with a full-on review of the 20mm f1.8 lens. So yeah, until the next video, stay safe, look after yourself, and I'll see you soon.